Hello and welcome back to the Cozy Club, my friends. My name's Cozy Gamer. It's a beautiful day for some DSA, and today we get to do one of my favorite things to do on this channel, and that is ranking every single character on Disney's Sorcerer's Arena, or otherwise known as a tier list. So as we know, every character in this game does not have an equal chance of winning, and every character's strength and weaknesses do not perfectly balance out to counter each other, and we obviously know that this doesn't exist. And if it was something like rock, paper, scissors, that's a lot easier, right? But there's so many things to take into consideration. So a tier list is a ranking of all characters' expected competitive performance, and based on really the meta that's going to shift often. All right, for those of you who are new with tier lists, we're going to be doing a letter grade performance, and essentially that means an F, right? You fail at school. F is going to be avoid this character, whereas S, which is above A, S is going to be superb, essential, farm these characters, they're the best in the game. Now, something to note is if they have a +1 next to them, that means that they have the ability to go past the letter grade that they're in if they're used with certain squads. So be looking out for that +1. Also, this list is going to be working from left to right. So the better characters are going to be on the left side of the screen, going up to the bottom column, and then again on the left side, working over. So you guys can see the categories within the categories to know exactly who's the best characters and why. Guys, I encourage you to break the mold, go against the meta, use teams that might not be popular. I want you to farm efficiently, but also have fun while playing the game. Now, all these characters, they're probably going to at one point either be used for an event or be useful in some capacity, but right now, this is where every single character is ranked. All right, now starting off with the bottom of the pack is the avoid category, or the letter F grade. These characters, you're going to want to avoid spending your hard-earned resources on. They're in need of a rework, and they don't really offer a reason to get a spot on your team in any capacity. Now, Yzma and Krunk, I hope one day they get the buff they deserve. Maybe when we get an Emperor's New Groove event, we'll get Cusco, and then these two will get a buff. I hope they can work in a duo. That'd be a lot of fun to see. But right now, they're just not that great. All right, so these F characters, they don't have great stats. And then to boot with that, they also don't have great abilities to do anything that really shines in their kit, right? They're not going to have anything with their abilities that make them stand out or make them extra special to put inside your team. So for instance, Hopper, he's not going to do anything glamorous for your team. And you guys know my thoughts on Rafiki. We just talked about that in the Lion King video that you can check out right here. Now, Rafiki, again, he's got some great potential, but as of now, he's not going to be a character that you even want to put with your Lion King characters. Now, maybe one day Tinkerbell will get the rework that she deserves, but right now, she's really just a troll and a laughing matter in this game. Maybe Peter Pan comes by and we'll see her get touched up. All right, let's move on to the D letter grade, or the poor category. You know, these characters right now, there's just better options than to use these certain units. Now, there's some characters on this list that I think could really use a buff, starting with Pocahontas. And you guys know, Pocahontas, I think, has the best potential to not only be like a great wild leader, but also have a lot of unique abilities that really capture her moments in the Disney movies and just be a really good character on top of that. She's a princess technically, so it would work with Mulan teams in the future if we do see princess teams start to come out. And overall, I think she's in need for a buff, and hopefully we get one. Woody and Jesse are going to be the first characters you're going to see the +1 next to, and that's because if you do use these characters with a complete Toy Story team, other than Zurg, but like just Buzz and Bo Peep, they're going to go up a tier at least. Jesse can act like a mini Splash Mountain by extending debuffs, and Woody, he grants haste to his allies, and he does some good healing. So with a team, they're going to be a little bit better, but they just don't offer enough both ability and stat-wise to really bump up, and that's a shame. I know they just got buffed, but I do hope one day our sheriff of Andy's room does get himself a little rework. So you guys are going to notice in this video, we're going to talk about Fear a little bit. Now, Fear currently isn't that strong of a debuff. It doesn't do what other debuffs do in the sense of slowing down or killing a character's kit in any way. These characters like Randall, Jack Skellington, and some other ones we're going to talk about later, they have their kits based around Fear. And so once they're tweaked a little bit or Fear has been changed, they'll be a lot better. In fact, instantly. If Fear becomes a better debuff, these characters instantly get a facelift. This hurts my heart because I'm a big Monsters Inc. fan. So hopefully they change Fear. We'll see what happens. All right, let's keep this train going and move on to the inferior category, or the C grade characters. All right, so let's look at Violet first in this list. Okay, Violet, I've told you before, she's slept on. She is the only really dedicated shield user in this game. She puts out shields a ton. She can stealth herself. When she stealths, she puts out vulnerable. She gets a lot of crits on the field. By herself, without the Incredibles, she's really left alone and doesn't know what to do, right? So I think Scrooge has the chance to be insanely good down the line. So his whole kit is built off helpful effects, and I love the creativity with his kit. Currently, he's one of the few characters that can purge effects, and when placed with the right squad, he can be fun. So keep your eye out on him for future metas, see what happens with him. Again, look at these characters' kits, guys. Look at their abilities and see if they're going to really be able to rise up with metas, or if they're kind of stuck to one team. We talked about that a little bit in my farming video, right? Like the Frozen team is very solid right now, best squad in the game. However, they're capped at being a Frozen team. So looking at broader teams and broader synergies is important, so you know exactly who's going to be able to take advantage of upcoming meta changes. So with that entire shakeup, all the tanks kind of got to buff up in viability. So Oogie Boogie, Jangles, and Soli, they're all very solid now because Taunt it's harder to get rid of, first of all. And also with all that health, they can just keep sucking up that damage. And overall, looking at these tanks, you're going to see 2 of them rise up with Fear being involved in their kits, right? So if they do buff Fear by any means, you're going to see that happen. Now, these tanks are good to have in a base solid team, especially early on. I would focus on the in-game tanks before these guys, but they're solid if you need to use them. And I know we've got a lot of Gaston love. Nobody fights like Gaston, taunts like Gaston, or is in the C tier like Gaston, but unfortunately right now he's not that great of a tank. He's better, again, because of that spell debuff, but this is where he belongs, and hopefully when we get Belle and Beast, he does see a rise up in the ranks as well. All right, the last character we're going to look at is Sergeant Calhoun. And guys, let me know in the comments if you want to see some Wreck-It Ralph love in this game. But I think she's going to get better over time. As of right now, she's a pretty solid character. She's good to use with the Downtown Heroes team and can pump out a lot of damage. Outside of that, she doesn't have a crazy use. I know that she has some fun abilities, and I'm interested to see what happens with her later in the game. But as of right now, I think the C or inferior category fits her well. Cozy Club, moving to the B or situational tier. Now, this is one of my favorite tiers, right? Because there's the most discussion between B, B+, and the A tiers. I know a lot of people have a lot of love for some of these characters, and they all get kind of placed in between here. If you'd love to have discussion and talk about characters' kits or their teams, go ahead and join my Discord. You can see that in the description below. Or if you want to see me try these characters out, you can also see me test out these characters on Twitch. We have a great time. We talk strategy. We have fun. We do trivia. It's just a great time. Again, see that in the description below. Now, looking at Syndrome and Buzz, I love these 2 characters because they're tremendous. They're very similar. They both have stun, and one's more single target damage focused, while the other one does a great AoE damage in Syndrome. Now, both these characters will help you tremendously in tower, PvE content, and situational uses. I think they're great. They're just not quite there to break into the B+ category, but these are solid characters that, especially early on, are not bad decisions to go for. All right, so Elastigirl has the biggest potential to jump up tiers when used with the Incredible team. She's got the 3rd highest offense in the game. She does amazing, insane single target damage and is really, again, the engine that makes the Incredibles team work. So if used with the entire Incredibles team, she's a great character. Otherwise, she's still a very hard-hitting character by herself and does have her uses, but she is going to be staying here in the B category unless used with her other family members. Davy Jones, I can't wait for the day that hopefully Davy Jones gets even a little bit better, whether it's an oceanic lead or some synergy that ties him in. Right now, he's a little bit of a one-trick pony. He's got one ability, his silence move hits incredible, insane amount of damage. We're talking Zerg, Jafar type of big damage. But other than that, his Dead Man's Chest isn't that great, and his summonable characters, they need a touch-up and a little bit of love. Honey, where's my super suit? Frozone has great abilities. In fact, he has really good abilities. He does a lot of slow and does some great things now that debuffs are harder to get rid of. However, his stats aren't glamorous, but with an Incredibles team, he does go up a notch, and I do like Frozone. I'm curious to see if we can find any other combinations for him out here, but for now, he's situational. Now, the last one we're going to talk about is Ariel. Now, Ariel is a great starting character. She can heal her teammates. She has a basic that works well with Aladdin and Sorcerer Mickey. She also has a great way to purge the helpful effects from people and a great ability. Now, she does fall off after like Tower 3 and a little bit into the later game. I think we're definitely going to see some Little Mermaid content. So this is another character I think it's safe to invest in. And overall, she does some great things, especially in PvE, but I wouldn't quite rely on her to make that top 5 character live PvP team or anything like that. Moving right along to the B+ tier, and this is the great. These characters are great characters. If you have them, they're going to have a spot in your team in some capacity, and they all do something a little bit different. All right, so Olaf, if he was a little bit faster, he could be much higher. He does have Charm, which is one of the best debuffs in the game, as we've talked about, and Tactics, which is also one of the best buffs in the game. If he's with Elsa and the rest of his Frozen family, he's going to be a lot better, probably high of the A tier, the next category. He'd be top of that list with the Frozen group, but without them, this is where he belongs. Now, Madam Mim is slept on in this game. Her viability is great. I know there are plenty of creative teams out there involving her with harmful effects. With the change to spells, she's a debuff machine that can't be stopped. She spreads harmful effects, she deals big damage, and doesn't need help from other people. Now, for instance, she buffs up her own speed turn meter whenever she does harmful effects, and can just rely on just what she's doing and the little bit of harmful effects out on the field to make her a good character. Now, it pains me to put Simba here. I want to put him a little bit higher. I just can't find a reason to get him that high. He's the truest sense of a word in a tank, and if you guys just saw my video, again, you know how I feel about him. He's tremendous at what he does. He has a very creative kid. He's a defensive powerhouse, and with the stones coming out, he's only getting better. But he just doesn't really escalate well into the high later ends of the game. So this is where he sits. But in the middle game, and really anything below 45, Simba's going to dominate. Now, Robin Hood's great. He plugs into some good teams with his guaranteed crits. And looking at Merlin, he's got some of the most unique abilities in the game, and it really stands him apart from some of the other characters. He just doesn't have a lot of synergy to help sync him in with some of the better teams. Jack is just a big ball of randomness, but he does a lot of great things. If he was more dependable, he'd be at the top or even bottom of the A+ list or top of the A list. Jack, he can stun, continuous damage, he increases or flips helpful effects. He just does a lot of great things, and overall, I wish that he was more dependable, but this is where he's going to sit for now. Now, Steamboat Mickey is a character that global players don't have yet, unless you've bought him separately. He's got a taunt, a silence, and a slow, and then when he gets hit, he has a chance to make his cooldowns decrease, and then he can get the taunt, the silence, and the slow out again. Overall, he's got great stats. He's a good character, and I would recommend using those tokens on Mickey so you can get him. He's not going to go in your top 5 squad by any means, but he's a solid character to have just in case something else happens for him down the line. Okay, we're getting to the best characters in this game now. We're on to the A tier, which is the excellent characters. All the characters in here you're going to find great use for. Use them in live PvP. Use them in arena. Use them as you wish. They all do some great things with their abilities. Their stats are solid, and they have potential to get even better. So the Doctor himself, it's time he gets the credit he deserves. He's going to be on the A tier list. Why? Well, first of all, he can force a taunt. He has charm. He can shut down Elsa with a polymorph. He does so many great things, healing his team whenever anybody dies on the field. He's the master of tower, the master of debuffs. He deservingly belongs to be with the A tier. Now, looking at Mulan, she's a great addition to your kingdom team. My favorite thing she does is she gives herself tactics, which is so powerful combined with her slow and her offense down and her silence, as well as her reduction in speed turn meter on her basic. She's just get Mulan. She's great. Now, Barley is something special. Him and his brother Ian are going to go up to the A+ tier when they're with Mana Core. They're looking really strong right now. And Barley, I feel like he isn't looked at that much, but let's break down and look at exactly what he can do. He can call allies to assist. He can decrease cooldowns. He can increase the enemy's cooldowns. He's one of the only characters that can remove taunt. Overall, he just does so much. His stats are good, and then he gets better with the Onward crew. Barley is a solid investment, and guys, when the Onward team comes back, invest in Dad Pants, invest in the Onward characters. They're worth going for. Now, if you watch me on Twitch, you know I love me some Sven. Sven is a great character. He's like that mini bucket of soldiers. We talked about him. Now, he's here because he doesn't really do anything outside of laying out the big hits. He does heal Kristoff, and with a Frozen team, he does go up probably to the top of the A+ tier. However, by himself, he just is kind of selfish. His passive, everything that he does helps his basic hit harder, but without the Frozen team, he can't capitalize on that amazing damage. So this feels good for him. I love Spin, and I feel like this is a great spot for him. Now we know BB Dubs is good, so we've already talked about him a good amount. Great overall damage, consistent damage, and can be plugged into any team. Now let's look at Jasmine. Our Lady Jasmine, and well, mainly Raja, has moved up the ranks massively. You're getting yourself 2 characters that are very useful for only 1 slot. When paired with the Kingdom team, she's even better, and she hits that A+ territory. Now Jafar, he's just an amazing unit. He puts ticking time bombs on the enemy with time is running out. He can charm, he does continuous damage. He has just a great overall kit with him, and I love the Jafar that I've been using now that he's been buffed. He's even better. Go get Jafar, you're not going to regret it. Now Sally, she's going to see a big uptick with all this spell debuff. She is kind of the debuff queen if Dr. Facilier is the debuff king, right? She does a lot of good things, essential in tower, and overall a very solid unit. Now Judy, I think one day we're going to see her get a lot better when she has more characters, either Zootopia or whatever happens with her. But for right now, she's in the A tier and I like her here. We're on to the amazing characters, the A+ tier. These characters are all very, very solid characters. You're not going to regret getting any of them. And we're going to start with Mordu. Now Mordu, he's an amazing character. He really floats between the S tier and then the top of A+ tier. He doesn't have an exact spot for him, and so I can't really find a reason to put him in the S tier. He's not absolute essential like some of those characters are, but he's a very good tank, if not the best tank. He's got some awesome offense. He does counter attacks. He's a little slow to get that first taunt out there, but once it's out there, that slow is what you want, right? You want your tanks going slow so the taunt stays on them. He's an excellent character, and you won't regret going after him, especially now that you can get him in a farmable location. Now, Kristoff, he's going to have that +1 next to him. He easily becomes the best tank in the game, no question, whenever he's with the Frozen team. Now, Kristoff, he's so hard to kill, and believe me, he gives himself defense up all the time. It seems like he has defense up the entire match. He usually is the first or second character to go. He gives buffs off to like someone like Dash or Zerg or any other character. And then he does a 2-turn taunt, which is just on top of all the other stuff he has to offer. Now, you guys know how I feel about Aladdin, Sorcerer Mickey, and Jack Sparrow. They're all solid characters. They go great in Kingdom teams. They do well, and they got even better with the debuff changes. So overall, you want to use these 3. Now, Scar is a great in PvE and PvP. His hyenas are very unique as they like to assist, and Scar seems like he's consistently assisting more than he should, and I love that. Scar is the great rightful king of the jungle, and he deserves to be in the A+ list. Now, Genie is getting more and more interesting each and every day I play with him. He does massive damage with his basic attack, and then he's going to have his duplicates and his Pete Shadow do the exact same basic attack. It's incredible what he does, and he's like Spin in doing amazing damage, but then he also does other things in his kit to make him a little bit better than Spin, in my opinion. Now, Manicore and Bob or Mr. Incredible, they're going to be the best other 2 tanks in the game. They have some great things, and when they're with their team, they are extremely well. Manicore and Bob are both very hard to take down. Bob has counterattacks. Manicore has her charge system. They're both great characters, and they deserve to be at the bottom of the A+ list. All right, Cozy Club, it's time to look at the best characters within DSA. And we're going to start off with Hades, the king of the underworld. And Hades, he's just a fun and great addition to any team. He leads in the most important stat categories. He does amazing damage, continuous damage on the field. And I think we're just seeing the tip of the spear with Hades, because we know Hercules is going to be coming. So who knows what's going to happen with Hades' kit. Now, Zerg, we know, is an offensive powerhouse. You can put him in just about any team. He works in any meta, and he's going to be a plug-and-play character. With Zerg Vision, he can auto-delete characters. Rapid Iron Blaster, he erases characters. He's fun to use, and overall is worth grinding your downtown villains to unlock him, as his offense potential is just out of this world. Now, Ana, you can look at my Frozen and Death guide if you want to look at exactly what I think of Ana, but she is easily the best pure support character in the game. Yes, she throws her torches and she calls down some rocks, but really, her kit and her utility is in her support. Now, she's going to grant haste, she gives turn meter, she assists, she can plug into both Kingdom and Frozen teams, and she has an incredible lead when with the Frozen team. And to boot, she has a mass offense down that is going to instantly shift the change of battle, and just in general, Ana is great to go after day one of this game. Now, Shan Yu, he's great. He's always been great. He probably always will be great. He's got an amazing leadership. It's going to speed up everybody. You should know it by now. All of his abilities are hard hitting. They do something to benefit both himself and the team. He's putting defense down. He's going to give himself offense up. He does so many different things that makes him as great as he is. And now that he's in a farmable location within the campaign, there's no reason why you shouldn't go after a maxed out Shan Yu. Go ahead, give that Kingdom team the buff it deserves, and get yourself him today. And now these last two characters, they're kind of in a league of their own. I'm going to put them with the S tier, but they are without a doubt the best two characters in the game, and it doesn't come close. Elsa, when with the Frozen team, put a +1 on her and send him up to S+ tier. We don't even have it, but put him up there. Elsa does so many things incredibly. She does so much to build off herself, and I think that's what makes her so great. She doesn't need people around her in general. She's going to be building up this power attack, kind of like Dragon Ball Z with the Kamehameha, right? She's going to be building herself up, putting silence out to start the battle. She has a good basic attack. Everything gets better with empowered, and show yourself is straight up ridiculousness, especially with tactics. She can do a mass AoE stun. I mean, it's kind of crazy how good she is, and I'm excited to keep playing with her. Keep farming those characters up. She'll be back, and get yourself Elsa the next time she comes around. And the number one character in the game, in my opinion, is going to be Dash. Now, Dash was good with the Incredibles before any of this Frozen stuff happened. But now that Kristoff can give him guaranteed crit, it's crazy how good Dash is. He's going to be able to delete 1, 2, or even I've seen 3 characters dead at the beginning of the match. He has a built-in evade with his charge system. He's the fastest character. There's just nothing not to love about our man Dash, and he's probably going to stay in this spot for quite a while. All right, so here you have it. Here's the whole list. Go ahead and take a look at them. S through the F tier, guys. There's a lot of changes since the last time we did this, and I'm excited to do it in July, and hopefully there's changes there. I know that the first time I did this, I didn't think there'd be as many swaps and spots. You guys can actually look at my old tier list right here on screen and look exactly the differences between these two and the changes that happened over the course of just a month and a half. So guys, I hope you like this tier list. Let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We do weekly, pretty much bi-daily DSA news. I'm excited to keep on growing this amazing community, guys. I'll see you guys on my next video. Enjoy these awesome videos on your way out, and we'll see you next time right here at the Cozy Club.